You have to be careful when you say like the Fever fans, because I don't think it's the Fever fans. I think it's the people that wanted Caitlin Clark to be a certain type of way and they thought that she was.
When discussing the fervor of Fever fans, it's crucial to tread carefully. It's not necessarily the fans themselves, but rather those who had preconceived notions of what Caitlin Clark represented. Initially, these individuals rallied behind her, expecting her to embody certain ideals, only to discover she wasn't the figure they imagined. Notably, she wasn't racist. This revelation came to light dramatically when Jonquel Jones, the WNBA Finals MVP, rose staunchly in defense of Clark amidst a deluge of hostility. Remarkably, this defense came from a superstar who had never faced Clark on the court. The intrigue deepened significantly from here. Jonquel Jones's actions extended beyond mere defense. She boldly criticized the media's manipulation of the narrative, accusing them of spinning the story to incite controversy, aiming to provoke a misstep from Clark. What's the big deal, you might ask? Prepare to have your perceptions challenged as we delve into how the articulate defiance of one player is rewriting the script on the ongoing controversy involving Caitlin Clark and the general sentiment towards Indiana fans during the WNBA season. Both media and players have branded the fan base, adding to the complexity of the narrative. Enter Jonquel Jones, whose recent remarks have sent shockwaves through the sports community. As the reigning WNBA Finals MVP, her words carry weight, but it's her decision to use her platform to advocate for Clark against common adversaries that's truly groundbreaking. During a pivotal moment on the Pivot podcast, Jones was queried about her thoughts on Alyssa Thomas, praised as one of the WNBA's elite, and her actions during the playoffs. This moment underscored Jones's role not just as a player, but as a pivotal voice in the evolving discourse surrounding Caitlin Clark and her fans. Amidst a charged atmosphere, Jonquel Jones stood firmly against racism, calling it out directly in front of the press and media, highlighting the role officials need to play. They're playing, and obviously the Fever fans were being the Fever fans, she noted, expressing admiration for the stand taken. But her advocacy didn't end with mere words. Jones escalated the dialogue to challenge the broader narrative spun by the media around Caitlin Clark. It's a bold move by Jones, a top-tier player who is putting her own reputation on the line to defend a college athlete. You may wonder why this matters. The reality is about to unfold, illustrating the complexities of public support and its manipulation. Jones revealed, "I feel like they wanted to latch on to Caitlin Clark and then use her as, like this fuel to be able to be the way that they wanted to be." This manipulation sparked intense backlash, notably around a controversial social media post about voting for Kamala Harris, which was twisted into a symbol of racism by some of Clark's detractors. Jones didn't merely brush off these accusations, she directly addressed the unfair labeling of Clark and her fan base, stressing the importance of discernment in public discourse. You have to be careful when you say the Fever fans, because I don't think it's the Fever fans. I think it's the people that wanted Caitlin Clark to be a certain type of way, and they thought that she was, Jones explained, unpacking the layers of assumption that led to a fierce backlash when these fans realized Clark did not fit the mold they imagined, specifically the false belief that she was racist. The implications are significant, revealing the harsh realities athletes face when their identities or supposed beliefs are misinterpreted or manipulated. Jones emphasized that no athlete should ever have to feel threatened or endangered, physically or psychologically, because of their skin color or perceived political affiliations. It's an unsettling reflection on the state of discourse and the real dangers it can pose. It's crazy that they had to deal with that, Jones concluded, a powerful reminder of the ongoing challenges and responsibilities facing public figures and their audiences. You might be wondering what the most astonishing statement from Jonquel Jones was. Here it is. She unequivocally defended Caitlin Clark against charges of racism. Jones was direct and assertive, stating, "Caitlin Clark, not racist, very clear." Coming from an athlete of Jones's stature, this declaration is significant, but that's not all. Jones also advocated for systemic changes within the WNBA, asserting, "I hope that the WNBA gets it in order and makes sure that they have things in place because, yeah, no one wants to play in a situation like that." Her stance is not only about defending a fellow athlete, but also about striving for a better and fairer playing environment for all. But what happens next? Prepare for the unfolding drama. Jones' words have ignited a firestorm, signaling the start of a major shakeup in the world of basketball. With Jones challenging the status quo, we are prompted to consider the larger implications of her actions. Have you seen the headlines about Caitlin Clark? Now ask yourself, are you getting the full story, or are you being manipulated? The controversy surrounding Clark transcends mere sports, but has morphed into a potent mix of media spin, controversy, and dramatic narratives designed to attract clicks and views, often overshadowing the truth. The media's disproportionate emphasis on sensationalism is frustrating. While television ratings and attendance soar tangible indicators of the sport's health and popularity, the focus has shifted dramatically from Clark's athletic prowess to baseless allegations of racism. This shift in narrative isn't just misleading, it's a gross misrepresentation of reality. Jonquel Jones highlighted this issue, criticizing the media for overshadowing genuine stories with negative rhetoric and baseless accusations. This isn't your typical sports drama, it's a pivotal moment that could redefine public perception and media responsibility in sports. As we delve deeper into this narrative, it becomes clear that Jones is not only defending Clark, but also calling attention to a media landscape that thrives on controversy at the expense of truth and integrity. What truly is the real story here? According to Jonquel Jones, it's the remarkable growth of women's basketball, a narrative brimming with positivity that's unfortunately drowned out by the din of controversy. Jones notes the impressive surge in TV ratings and attendance, markers of the sport's thriving state and burgeoning respect. Yet, these successes receive scant mention. I want to, in the strongest possible words, condemn racism and the poor treatment of any individual, any fellow freaking human being, Jones passionately declares. But she also criticizes the disproportionate energy focused on negativity, which skews the public's view away from the significant advances in women's basketball. Once marginalized, women's basketball is now celebrated as a serious sport. Why then would the media contort the narrative about Caitlin Clark in such a manner? The answer is both simple and disheartening. Controversy sells. But this manufacturing of drama does more than just mislead, it angers the genuine fans. These are fans who desire nothing more than to support their favorite athletes, yet find themselves unfairly labeled due to the actions of a few. Jones articulates this concern precisely, cautioning against the hasty generalization of entire fan bases. But the situation escalates further. The media, as Jones points out, has moved beyond mere reporting. They sculpt the narrative, much like they did with the Taylor Swift incident, entering dangerous territory. This manipulation leads to a scenario where a handful of negative remarks can completely eclipse the many positives within women's basketball. The media plays a distorted game of telephone, warping messages until the original facts are barely recognizable, exemplified by the unjust backlash Caitlin Clark supposedly received for a simple social media like which in reality was nothing more than minor commentary from unrepresentative individuals. Clark has been misrepresented, used as a symbol or avatar in narratives not of her own making. This leads us to a crucial question. How do we sift through the noise to uncover the truth? It begins by acknowledging when stories are being skewed. This discussion isn't solely about Caitlin Clark, it's about the broader future of women's basketball and the discourse surrounding it. We need to evaluate the claims about Clark's fans. Are they truly the racists they're portrayed to be? By confronting these narratives, we challenge the status quo and redefine how women's basketball and its athletes are perceived and discussed. The journey to truth is complex, but it is essential for the integrity of sports journalism and the respect of the athletes who play the game. Consider this. The vast majority of fans are simply passionate about the sport. They gather in the stands and online not to stir up trouble, but to witness the awe-inspiring talent of players like Caitlin Clark who excel on the basketball court. However, the situation takes a complex turn as certain individuals exploit these circumstances to advance their personal agendas. By focusing on the few negative voices, they paint an entire community with the broad strokes of bigotry and misconduct. This portrayal is not only unfair, but also untrue. Statements made in a recent interview suggest that Fever fans are generally racist, a severe and unfounded accusation that overlooks the true nature of most fans. Now let's delve deeper. You might have seen some racist comments online and wondered about their prevalence. Yet, a closer examination reveals that these remarks originate from a minuscule fraction of the fan base. Imagine a scenario where Fever has 1 million supporters. If only 5,000 of those engage in racist behavior, that's merely 0.5% of the entire group. This small segment could disproportionately amplify their presence online, creating a misleading impression of widespread racism. It's crucial to understand the dynamics of social media, where repetitive posting by a few can appear as the voice of many. This misrepresentation is what leads to the hasty generalization that all of Caitlin Clark's fans are racists. Jonquel Jones has spoken out against this misconception, emphasizing that most fans are present for the love of the game and to support phenomenal plays from breathtaking 30-foot shots to game-winning maneuvers. Acknowledging the reality that the problematic voices represent a tiny minority helps clarify the situation. As the season progressed, even the small number of negative voices dwindled, many of whom were not genuine basketball enthusiasts, but individuals using the platform for their prejudiced agendas. The narrative that has been shaped isn't just unfair, it's an illusion crafted by the selective amplification of a few voices. By challenging this distortion and focusing on the positive majority, we can appreciate the true spirit of the fans and the sport. It's about recognizing the noise for what it is, an anomaly, not the norm. Caitlin Clark herself has spoken out against those stirring controversies, making it clear that the disruptors are not true fans but mere trolls. This distinction is crucial for a proper understanding of the situation. Stay tuned, as we're about to delve deeper into the truth behind these claims. This issue extends beyond just defending an athlete or her supporters. It's about grasping how social media can skew our perceptions and recognizing how a minority of agitators can falsely represent a vast, devoted fan base. At its core, the real narrative is about the sport itself and the genuine enthusiasts who cherish it. Here lies the authentic story behind the Caitlin Clark controversy, a saga that has notably jolted women's basketball, igniting discussions on respect, media portrayals, and the expectations placed upon athletes. Casting a broad, negative stereotype on a group only serves to aggravate that group, potentially morphing them into the very image you've portrayed, which is a dangerous cycle. This sort of rhetoric is damaging. It's akin to telling someone repeatedly they are something negative until they finally embody it, despite it not being true of reasonable or decent individuals. Jonquel Jones has done more than just stand up for Clark. She has invited us to reconsider our viewpoints and support mechanisms regarding women's sports. This moment transcends the individual. It's about the future trajectory of the sport and those who will help shape it. When people hastily label Caitlin Clark's fan base as a clan, it's not only a severe misjudgment, but also one of the gravest labels to apply, based merely on the actions of a very few. Jonquel Jones has insightfully highlighted that there was indeed a subset of individuals who attached themselves to Clark under false pretenses of what she represented. Now, realizing their error, they've detached, acknowledging she does not embody those misrepresented values. What comes next is a choice we all make. Will you let the cacophony of misguided voices cloud your judgment, or will you seek a deeper understanding? The next time you tune into a game, look beyond the scoreboard, and consider the broader implications and narratives at play. You possess the power to influence and make a difference. Why not attend a game and actively support your favorite players? The evolution of women's basketball is unfolding now, and you are an integral part of it. So what are you waiting for? Step out, engage, and help drive the positive change. It's your opportunity to influence the future of the sport.